Lisa was trudging home from work exhausted. She worked in the meat department of a grocery store. The job was grueling, requiring her to be on her feet all day long, hauling and cutting through tons of meat, all the while constantly restocking the display cases. At the end of her shift, she bought some groceries for herself, bread and milk, and after a moment's hesitation about what to cook for dinner, she bought a chicken. At home, she sat down at the table, her whole body aching from fatigue. Her eyes fell on the trash can. The trash, she thought. I still need to take out the trash. Christ, I really don't feel like making another move right now. Nonetheless, Lisa, weary, rose from her chair, grabbed the trash can and went out the door. As she approached the dumpsters, she noticed a man, dirty, unkempt, and with a distinct odour. He was sitting near the dumpsters, his head hanging low. Great, Lisa thought irritably. Just great. Now we have homeless people too, just what we needed, spreading disease and all. The small town where Lisa lived had a population of no more than 40,000. Pretty much everyone knew everyone, and there were no homeless people on its streets so far. However, there is a first time for everything. The sight of a homeless person by the dumpsters both surprised and annoyed Lisa. Casting a wary glance at the man, she threw her trash bag into the bin and turned to go home. Patrick was 30 years old when his beautiful, loving wife Joshua died. They had been married for only 4 years. Joshua died from a severe illness that appeared suddenly and swiftly took her life, leaving no chance for recovery. Her death shocked Patrick so profoundly that he simply broke down. A tall, handsome man, Patrick was an associate professor in the chemistry and mathematics department of a leading university in a big city. He had achieved everything in his life on his own. Patrick did not come from a wealthy family. His mother and father were simple workers. Patrick had a brother and a sister. He was the middle child. His older brother, after finishing school, started working with their father, but Patrick was always drawn to mathematics and chemistry. So after school, he entered the university, majoring in chemistry and mathematics. He also studied physics. Money was desperately tight. His parents could offer little help, and Patrick relied solely on himself. He earned a living by writing term papers and fixing household appliances while studying textbooks late into the night. He never grew tired of learning. He studied well, caught the attention of his professors, and after graduating, he was invited to work at the university. Patrick happily agreed. Alongside teaching, Patrick engaged in inventing, and one day one of his patented inventions became widely used in the industry, which made Patrick financially independent. Now he could finally relax a bit. He bought an apartment, did a nice renovation, and furnished it with expensive furniture, trying his best to create the perfect environment for a family. He wanted a wife and children very much. He met Joshua at work. She had come to teach astronomy at their university. Their relationship blossomed immediately. It was love at first sight. Soon they moved in together, and 2 months later, they got officially married. Now Patrick had a wife, and very soon, he hoped, they would have children. But things didn't work out as planned. Joshua had 2 miscarriages early on, and they decided to take a break from trying. Then, right out of the blue, came her terrible diagnosis and subsequent death. With Joshua's death, Patrick lost his will to live. He no longer saw any purpose in his work or his cherished inventions. His workplace tolerated him for a long time because he was such a valuable specialist. But when Patrick began missing classes for entire weeks, the administration had no choice but to fire him. Patrick didn't care. He had completely given up and was falling deeper and deeper into despair. Not even his parents, who tried their best to help him, could save him. The thoughts of Joshua and his shattered dreams killed any desire to live, and one day he simply vanished. Worried that Patrick wasn't answering his phone, his parents went to his apartment and found it empty. The state of the apartment suggested that its owner had given up. It wasn't just the mess in what was once a well-kept home, but the air of hopelessness that hung over the former family nest. After 3 days of searching, his parents filed a missing person report with the police. The shift was over. Lisa and her colleague Monica headed to the showers to clean up after the workday. It had been a tough day, and the women were exhausted. "You're lucky, Lisa," Monica said. "You get to go home and just go to sleep. No kids, no husband. You're your own boss. But I have to cook, feed everyone, and help my kid with his homework. I envy you so much." Lisa listened to Monica and smiled. She didn't want to admit to anyone that she longed for someone to take care of. Lisa was already nearing 30 and she still had no family. She kept her thoughts hidden, so she simply said, playing along, "Yeah, that's right, I'm my own boss." After showering, the friends changed clothes and, leaving the store, went their separate ways. When Lisa reached her apartment building, she saw the same homeless guy she had seen nearly 2 weeks ago by the dumpsters. He was sitting on the bench near her entrance, his head hanging low. "They get drunk and then sit there, spreading diseases," Lisa thought angrily again. However, as she walked past him, she heard a weak groan, and suddenly the homeless man began to slump over to one side. Lisa was taken aback and didn't know what to do. She couldn't just walk past him. What if he wasn't drunk but was actually ill? She cautiously approached him. "Hey," she called out to the man, "are you feeling unwell?" The homeless man opened his eyes and looked at Lisa but couldn't speak. He just nodded. From his face, Lisa could tell that he was in pain. She wanted to call an ambulance, but, as luck would have it, her phone was dead. Standing next to him for a moment, she asked, "Can you stand up? Let me help you." With effort, the man managed to get up, leaning on Lisa's hands for support. They slowly made their way up to the 3rd floor and entered Lisa's apartment. After laying a duvet on the couch, Lisa helped the man onto it, took out her charger and plugged in her phone. A few minutes later, when the phone had enough charge, she called for an ambulance. The arriving doctors diagnosed the man with severe exhaustion, but refused to take him to the hospital, citing the lack of identification documents. They prescribed some medication and advised Lisa on how to treat his exhaustion, then left her alone with the sick man. "Well, here we go," Lisa thought. "I did dream of taking care of someone, but not someone like this. What am I supposed to do with him now?" The homeless man lay still. He was dirty, extremely thin and unkempt, and it was unclear how old he was. After standing and thinking for a bit longer, Lisa went to the kitchen to reheat some soup she had made the day before. She filled a bowl with soup and approached the man lying on the couch. He watched her silently. Lisa moved the table closer and sat on it. "Well, sir, you might as well have some food." Scooping up some soup with a spoon, Lisa brought it to the man's face, but he pushed her hand away. With some effort, he sat up on the couch, took the bowl and spoon from Lisa, and began to eat slowly. It was clear that the food brought him some comfort. After finishing the soup, he spoke to Lisa. "Forgive me, I'll just rest a bit and then leave. I don't want to cause you any trouble." The man's voice was pleasant and quite young. "Just stay here for now, I'm not kicking you out," Lisa replied. Then after a moment she added, "Maybe you'd like to wash up? It might make you feel better." The man looked embarrassed as he examined himself and responded, "Yes, I could use a wash." "Then I'll get you a towel and some clean clothes," Lisa said, standing up. She approached the closet and took out clean underwear and clothes. The clothes belonged to her brother, who sometimes visited her and left his home clothes behind so he wouldn't have to carry a bag back and forth, as he put it. His shaving kit was also in the bag. Deciding she would buy replacements for her brother tomorrow, Lisa took out the shaving kit. She carried the towel, clothes and razor to the shower, then approached the man and offered to help him up, but he again pushed her hand away and slowly got up on his own. While the man was washing up, Lisa changed the sheets on the couch. A part of her thought was she shouldn't let him stay. Who knew who he was, where he came from, or if he was a thief or, worse, a murderer? But another part argued that she couldn't kick him out. Maybe he was a good guy who had fallen on hard times. She was still wrestling with herself when Patrick, by now you have probably guessed that it was him, emerged from the shower. Lisa saw a fairly young man, though very thin and haggard. Her brother's clothes were a bit too large for him, and he was very embarrassed about it. His whole appearance was pitiful. Seeing the freshly made couch, he began to apologize again. "Forgive me, I don't want to be a bother. Thank you for the delicious soup. It's been a long time since I had such a meal. Thank you for the clothes, but I should go." Lisa was a kind woman and capable of empathy, so she silently approached him and gently nudged him towards the couch. "Gather your strength and then you can go wherever you want. What's your name?" "I'm Patrick," he replied, smiling weakly. "Lisa, you idiot, you let a homeless dude into your home. What if he has some disease or worse? You'll come home and find all the valuables gone," said Monica the next day at work. "Well, I don't have any valuables anyway. No money, no jewellery or anything like that," Lisa replied. "And the furniture, the appliances, are those not valuables? Do you think all this just fell from the sky? You work hard next to me to earn them. Do you think someone gave you all this for nothing? All right, Monica, stop nagging. I'm already worried enough. I understand. But I couldn't just throw him out. You see, he's very weak. I'm human after all." After work, Lisa stopped at the store for groceries, then at the pharmacy to buy all the prescribed medications. To her surprise, she realized she really enjoyed caring for this man. Lisa left the kindergarten holding her 3-year-old son's hand. On the other hand, he held a toy car that his father had bought him yesterday. A car pulled up to the kindergarten. Patrick was behind the wheel. He saw Lisa and waved, his face lit up with a happy smile. Lisa lifted her son in her arms. "Look, Richard, Daddy's here." "Daddy!" shouted Richard, laughing joyfully. Lisa and her son approached the car, and Patrick got out. He hugged his wife and kissed his son, opened the car door and seated Lisa, strapped Richard into the child seat, and then got behind the wheel himself. Richard's teacher, Donna, stood watching the happy family through the window. She had recently moved to their town and didn't have a family of her own yet. "Where do they find men like that, I wonder?" she muttered to herself. The nanny, Sharon, smiled as she cleared the dishes and replied, "You wouldn't believe it, but she found him in the dumpster." 6 years had passed since Lisa took Patrick in. During that time, their lives had completely changed. Gradually, Patrick regained his strength and returned to normal life. Lisa helped him reconnect with his parents, who had lost hope of finding their son. The joyful family reunion took place in Lisa's apartment. Patrick's parents were endlessly grateful to her for saving their son. Patrick resumed his scientific work and re-established his connections in academic circles. His invention was still generating income. Lisa supported him in everything, and soon romantic feelings blossomed between them. A year later, they got married, and a year after that, their son Richard was born. Lisa left her job at the store to dedicate herself fully to her family. Patrick insisted that she pursue the higher education she had always dreamed of. Now they had a strong, happy family. They bought a spacious house and often visited Patrick's parents. Lisa found her calling in social work, helping homeless people who had fallen on hard times. Patrick fully recovered both mentally and physically. He was once again passionate about science, working hard but always finding time for his family. In the evenings, they loved to walk together in the park, making plans for the future. Richard is growing up to be a curious and kind boy. He adores his parents and is proud of them. Patrick and Lisa dream of having a second child and plan to make this dream come true soon. Sometimes, while putting their son to bed, Lisa and Patrick reminisce about the day they met under such unusual circumstances. They are grateful to fate for the chance that it gave them. Their story became well known in their town and inspired many people to do good deeds. Lisa often gives lectures, sharing the importance of not ignoring others' suffering. Patrick and Lisa are confident that miracles do happen. One just needs to be open to them and not be afraid to go that extra mile. They are happy together and look forward to the future with optimism, ready for whatever surprises it might bring.